morning, night, and noon. And to it I'll give my life to keep on shining with the sunshine that comes out in the morning. We've made a sacrifice to get it where it is now. With our smiling faces, we share the hard times. Now nobody wanna leave it up to no one who he thinks doesn't know I care about yesterdays and today's hard times we bear. And I do about anything to make it bloom.
I think of it, I dream of it.
And the morning, night, and noon. And to it I'll give my life to keep on shining with the sunshine that comes out in the morning. All I see before me is one island, one people, one destiny. And when I look out.
Welcome to another Tuesday. It is Politricks Tuesday right here on the Late Night Show with Andrew and Cedric. Of course, we are joined by somebody who I've looked up from since I was young. Someone that I respect very much, taught me everything I know about politics without him even knowing. Someone who I very much am honored to have on the program today.
I thank you, Andrew.
Mr.
Thanks.
Julio Romney, thank you so much for coming on Politricks.
Wait, you didn't meet me?
Shut up. Yes. Welcome.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
Of course, you finally come on the late night. Well, Politricks, that's fine. That's the same thing.
Because I
See,
hear.
that's
not because
late
of
night
you.
is beyond my curfew.
That is beyond the curfew.
And he's not here because of you. Again, another guest invited by my person as a means of an intervention. Someone who
And of course,
help steer
my
Mr.
co-host
Dick.
and someone I still wonder why we haven't kicked out, like we should have kicked out the worst president of parliament, the one, the only, Cedric Ortega.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think, therefore, Andrew and I have very little in common. And this is what makes the show what it is. I continue to have to assist this
Wipe your
young
mouth.
and
Wipe your mouth. You still have some of Theo's ass on your mouth. Wipe it out. Wipe it off. Wipe it off.
He started out by going there.
Yeah?
I want to say...
You gonna stay high or go low?
I am not going to even entertain the oh my,
I'd like to get him off guard.
We'll get back to that. I want to say also thank you, Mr. Romney, for being here. You have inspired so many of us. You often, when you speak, I tend to realize that I'm not completely crazy. Because
That's a good way of putting it.
you know,
Not completely.
it's like, you see,
Yeah, okay. Another occasion that Mr. Romney is here is because he was able to also send a letter to the...
rephrase that, Andrew.
He sent a...
He wasn't able to send a letter. This is
Okay, fine. He sent a letter, for an inquiry letter, to the voting bureau.
Central Voting Group.
Central Voting Bureau. Tell us a little bit about that before we start our Politricks.
Like I said, I forwarded this correspondence, inquiry letter, to the Central Voting Bureau. And basically, inquiry was looking at the composition of Parliament. See? And based on our electoral ordinance, or rather based on our Constitution, Article 47.1 clearly states that our election system is that of proportional representation, meaning the seats in Parliament are assigned to parties based on the number of votes they receive from the electorate. So in other words, the complete voting population, our constituent state, they would then vote And based on the proportion, they would then be assigned, each party would be assigned seats in Parliament.
Okay, now let
And
me
if you notice now, at present, we have in Parliament, called 5 independent members of Parliament out of the 15. And the inquiries that get basic finding out from the Electoral Council, the Voting Council, how is this possible? And the key here is that, and why the Central Electoral Council, because they have been mandated by government to ensure the proper implementation of proportional representation. So they would be the person to go to in order to get some clarification.
Okay, now let me translate it for Andrew. Andrew, this thing about going independent in Parliament, like I've been saying, can't work.
Okay, what stops somebody, Mr. Romney, what stops somebody from going independent? Because if I don't agree with the party that I was elected on, I don't agree with them, we don't have the same ties anymore, or they expel me. Okay. According to our great laws of the land, I'm able to go independent and continue serving the people.
No, you're not. That's what was just explained to you.
Listen to me.
You can resign
I
from
ain't
the
talking
party.
to you. You ain't send no letter. Okay?
Watch.
He's the one who sent the letter.
I just establishing how correct I am. Watch.
See, and that should be of great concern to every St. Martiner. Because then here you are, normally, I mean, it's been happening for the last, what you could call it, for the last 12 years, that we are basically, we have a parliamentary democracy system. And in essence, that's in turmoil. One cannot advance if you're trying to build an island state or constituent state within the kingdom if you do not really follow the principles. And that's our problem today. So I'm saying to them, okay, right, we want to be that strong constituent state. We want to move forward. Proper governments come into play. And if we have a parliamentary democracy system, then we must follow the rules and regulations of a parliamentary democracy system.
That means if you no longer enjoy or want to be part of the party, you didn't earn outright a seat. You ran on a list. The seat remains with the party.
Received
you
920 votes.
It's
if
irrelevant.
I received 920 votes
It's irrelevant.
as an individual candidate on a political party,
You didn't run as
and
an
I go,
individual. You ran as a collective.
I got my seat outright.
You did, the
No,
totality
How?
goes
That's
to the
another thing.
party.
You cannot, he haven't gotten his seat outright. And remember now, there are 2 calculations there. It's kind of clear that in order to get a seat or for a party to be assigned a seat, we have to take the number of votes cast throughout the constituent state divided by the number of available seats in Parliament.
Correct.
Okay? So that number is basically, if you get that number, you will then get a seat. Mm-hmm. When you go into Parliament now, or a member, a candidate, take a seat in Parliament, there's a lower threshold. Then you'll take the number of seats that the party won, okay? And that then be divided by the number of seats that the party gets, just the party.
Exactly.
And that number then will become the list quota. And based on that, you then get into Parliament. So if one wants to really look in terms of proportional representation, the key thing here, and we all tend to fail to recognize it, is proportional representation. What does that mean?
I keep saying it.
Okay?
I've been
And
saying it.
either way you want to twist it,
Yeah.
if you don't get that proportional, then you're no longer in Parliament.
Exactly. This ship
How can you?
jumping thing is
yeah,
impossible. You
if
cannot
you look
jump
at
a
it
ship.
in terms of, okay, I got so many
Yeah, but
votes.
what happened to shifting support? What happened to
Nothing.
if I don't agree with a certain way the government is handling and I shift my support? Is that the same as
You shift, when you say you shift your support in terms of what?
instead of a coalition or a member of the opposition? What would be the difference?
If you no longer feel comfortable within that party,
Yeah.
the thing to do is to resign and go about your business.
Mr. Romney, tell him
Mr.
that
Romney,
it's
please.
parties that sign
No, but
coalitions,
listen.
that a
I
coalition
can't-
exists between parties.
No, listen to me.
that our coalition today is a NA up with independent members, but it's NA and
with
UPP.
question, I mean that is not correct. That's not totally correct. The coalition today is the NA and UP.
Thank you.
Okay? This whole
Thank
thing
you.
about these independents
Individuals,
being
people
part of a
signing
coalition,
a
no,
paper,
no,
that's something
no.
we come up with
Come up
here.
with, yeah.
It's a locative thing. It
yeah.
doesn't have
It-
no
it-
weight.
It has, doesn't, and moreover, it has no basis in has no statutory basis.
None.
It's
So
just
why
being
do we
done.
allow it?
Because you
That-
sit here
that is a
and
great
tell
question.
us the nonsense and have me arguing with you week in and week out. You know how good it feels.
Hush. So why do we allow it?
That is the question now that I have presented before the Central Voting Bureau. Why is it allowed? Okay? And I've clearly asked them, okay, tell me, and I could be wrong. I'm open to be corrected, so to speak. Tell me, based on what statutory order are they allowed to do that? Based on what statutory order are members of parliament can declare themselves an independent member of parliament and remain in parliament?
It's crazy.
More
It is
importantly,
crazy.
based on what statutory order as the parliament has, in terms of recognizing and accepting a person's becoming an independent member of parliament. Notwithstanding the fact, when a coalition is formed, the Central Voting Bureau, whether to a factual statement, a process, what do you call it, process verbal?
Yeah, process
Okay,
verbal,
okay. The coalition, okay, is created or seated by what? A ministerial regulation.
Thank you.
Okay, so in essence, they are what? Ignoring, trampling on that ministerial regulations.
I said
Okay.
this 12
So
years
they-
ago
I
when the
completely-
false ship jumper happened. I said, okay, you no longer see eye to eye with the party. You want to remove yourself, then you resign
Resign
from the
from the
party.
seat, from the party.
seat stays with the party and goes to the next in line because that individual that resigned and went independent did not even acquire sufficient votes on their own to have that seat. Look at that reality. So now you are there because of the party. The party leader got 2,000 votes, which represented all 5 seats. The rest got 100 here, 50 there, 50 there. But they have a seat now in parliament based on the collective. You cannot leave with that seat and declare yourself independent. You can say, bye-bye, I'm resigning, which, for example, the Minister Duran should have done. Go back to parliament, resign,
gosh.
just sticking
Jeez.
that in there.
Yes, I know
But
this.
you resign, you say bye-bye, you leave. This independent thing in parliament
Highest vote
makes,
getter. But anyway, go ahead.
makes no sense. This number game
Yes,
in
but it is a number game. though.
but it doesn't,
Can
it
we-
holds no weight in a parliamentary system. It holds no weight. You can get 2,000 votes but can't fill 5 seats. So you're only representing 1 seat still, regardless of the amount of votes that you acquired.
Should we change our system or change the players?
Nothing is wrong with the system.
Nothing's wrong with the system.
Nothing
Proper
wrong with the
application.
system. What I think we need to do is we need to understand the system. We need to get back to the basics, starting with the schools. We need to understand what is a parliamentary system of government. We need to understand clearly that within our government, we are part of what? A constitutional monarchy. If you don't
So
understand
wait a
these
minute, we're not a
fundamentals-
country?
Well, that would do what we-
I swear it was a country.
boy, Nedo.
I know I know he don't like that word.
Boy,
It's not a matter of not liking the
Yeah.
word.
let's see it.
Yeah.
Let's see it.
To
We talk
me,
politics.
words matters. And in order for you to effectively move from point A to point B, you must clearly establish that you are at point A. You can't get to point B if you don't know where you are. And in order for us to move forward, we must first understand that what we are, we are part of a constitutional monarchy. Our thinking, we think or we want to believe that we are part of that we are a republic. Ladies and gentlemen, you are not a republic.
The governor is the symbol of your status as colony. Rome.
No. Here again, we're not a colony.
Even worse.
Even
worse.
We're not a colony.
Detachment.
I mean, that's clear. And you hear a person saying that we're a colony. No, we're not a colony. In 1954, we have agreed to form a constituent state, to be formed of a free association. Okay, there are options. When you're a colony, you can say, okay, I want to go straight out independent, or I'm going to join with another sovereign state and form a free association. That's what we have, a free association.
As Netherlands Antilles, that was a choice we made.
That was a choice we made. And we emphasize, or we recognize, or re-establish that choice 10-10-10.
Yeah.
You see, and a person don't understand the whole concept of a constitutional monarchy, you can't get nowhere. The key word here is monarchy. You know what's a monarchy? The opposite would be an absolute monarchy. Now we have a constitutional monarchy. So the monarch is just a figure, you know, a ceremonial figure, so to speak. Doesn't have that much political power. He gave it up to what? To the Constitution. And the Constitution directs it. And which is totally different than a republic. So when we sit up and we start comparing St. Martin to St. Kitts or Barbados, no.
Not even close.
Not even close. Number one, they are independent. We are not.
Yeah.
We are part of that independent sovereign.
But we have a prime minister.
No, we don't.
We have a prime minister. We have ministers.
We do not.
Just like the other country. Just like the other.
The Dutch say
No, and yeah, we do, and that's what. That's part of our governing system.
Yeah.
Okay?
Not to be confused with.
Not to be confused.
Listen.
You know, a person they will say, okay, in order to be whatever they want to be, we should get rid of Article 44, 50, 51. We shouldn't have a governor. Excuse me. What's United States with a governor is part of a colonial thing? No. I mean, of course there was governors in colonial time, but that's just part of the governing system, the structure, so to speak. Okay? And nothing is wrong with that. The governor represents what? The kingdom. If you are part of an association, if you are part of a free association or part of a member of a constituent state, there must be some representative there.
Who's higher than higher.
But
and we fail
representative, I wouldn't say a representative. I say he still has the final say. And that is the nuance there. We come up with every law. The day he don't sign it, you powerless as parliament.
That in itself, you know, that in itself is left. I mean, it could. I don't want to say a gray area per se, but the whole thinking that the governor has the final say. The governor has the final say insofar that our legislations must conform with the mission, the whole greater thing of the kingdom.
Correct.
However, if you look at different places within the charter, St. Martin as a constituent state, so the other constituent state, has a whole lot of power. There cannot be a kingdom law, or the kingdom can involve us into any agreement that we don't sign off to. No. We can always say no. Clearly, they talk about a coho. We don't like it, we say no. What happened? Coho is dead. Consensus law. But this is what we don't focus on. We have a whole lot of power. One would not believe St. Martin as a constituent state has more power than Puerto Rico as a territory of the United States. Do they call Puerto Rico a colony? No. See, here again, understanding.
Yeah.
We must understand our concept of government. Okay? We must know the fundamentals. And the whole thing of being part of a constituent state or constitutional monarchy, there are few. There are few of such kingdoms.
Yeah.
You find a whole lot of independent and territories,
That was a
etc.
unique construction
It's a unique structure, yeah.
at the time,
It's a
right?
unique-
That was novel that the
Okay.
Netherlands Antilles found the
And
block
today, yeah.
and became a partner
Part of-
two under. Partner two
Partner two under. That's a good way of putting it.
But once you have
put it this way, in the integral part.
But you cannot get
Yeah.
away from the monarch and
No,
the ultimate power of the state. So you have room to negotiate within that framework, but at the end of the day, this ultimate power lies to the state. For example, when we equate prime ministers, right? And I always say, als beestje maar een naampje heeft. Because the prime minister of the Netherlands, does the state secretary talk to Bush? Or the state secretary talk to Biden? The prime minister talks to Biden.
Yeah.
The prime minister talks to German prime minister. We get a state secretary.
Yeah.
Nice shoes.
And that's it.
Nice shoes.
We get a state secretary. We don't speak to the office of the prime minister of the Netherlands.
There's no
Yeah.
direct communication
Yeah.
between prime minister
No,
and prime
no.
minister. That hierarchy is demonstrated by the Dutch and put in place because it is easy as prime minister to prime minister to deal.
Yeah.
But you put a state secretary there to make you understand we are
The
not
levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
on the same level.
Yeah.
And then we talk country within a country. We create a false narrative for our children.
And that's where the education comes
That's
in, I
where
guess.
the education
Yeah.
comes in. I've been for a number of years, as a matter of fact, I could say straight up, 12 years, I have been trying and advocating that we teach civics in our classroom. That has not happened. I have approached every single minister since 10-10-10.
All 50 of them?
Plus one.
No, it's
but then
the
to
same 10
teach-
that come back 52.
Okay, to teach this stuff. I have went so far. I have authored a book, okay, St. Martin, St. Martin, a constituent state framework, our constitutional constituent framework, and beyond that, I wrote a workbook and an answer key. In order to what? To help us understand our system of government. To date, none of the ministers have tried to use it or try to get it implemented in school.
If they do
see?
that, we won't have
And that's the thing.
all these independent members of
Yeah.
parliament
We
and the
must
factions that
understand.
come with it.
And then
Wonder.
we sit back and blame the kingdom. We blame somebody else. No,
It's us.
the biggest problem within us now, okay, is us understanding and then, and then doing proper governance.
Exactly.
That's the
I've been
problem.
saying
The problem
it
is like English.
from the first time. You know when the confusion started 10-10-10? When the government was hijacked. William Marlin and the NA won 7 seats. And as expected, I was expected to the governor to appoint a formateur, informateur that would come back. Then the formateur would be appointed, and the process by which means the majority winning party would interview and see how the coalition would be formed, right? We got congratulations to the first winner of the elections. Me, I don't live episodic, and maybe that's my problem. Don't drink rum, folks. And congratulations to William Marlin from the Netherlands, and then all of a sudden there was a thorough government formed, and I was wait a minute.
It was a small party. Yeah, I remember
Stop.
very.
We doing something fundamentally wrong here, because this is anti-democracy. This is not how it works.
Turned completely.
It's turned completely upside down. William Marlin had to be formateur. This
Yeah.
didn't make no sense. And mind you, he'd keep telling me it's because
It's the
I
numbers.
grew up in Bakak, Holland, and see a different style of politics. So I am expecting this. Then I see this confusion, and then the ship jumping thing started, and I'm more confused now because I understand this is a parliamentary election whereby the party acquires votes. You run as individuals, but it goes into a collective pot. That's why you have a hierarchy. It's important where you sit on the hierarchy because it comes with pecking order. So this made no sense from the first time, and I've been asking, how is this possible? The seats belong to the party.
Yeah.
And
You can
find-
go your way by.
And
But
you
the seat
find
stays
persons
here.
there would say, no, the seat doesn't belong to the individual. It belongs to, and doesn't belong to the party. And after election, now it becomes individual. No, it does not. Proportional representation tells it straight out. It does not. Throughout the election ordinance, it talks about what? Political party. One would want you to believe that the word political party is not. I've heard that before.
Yes,
it's not
represented in
it's not in the law, or
Yeah.
in this case, would be in the in electoral ordinance. I said to myself, have you read this political party all through the thing?
Yep.
The whole concept of proportional representation. You don't have to say anything more. If one speaks about proportional representation, that's it. You don't have to utter another word. If you understand and grasp the concept of proportional representation. As a matter of fact, if you go further into the electoral ordinance, there it talks about elected representatives. It refers to the candidate as elected representative, not as parliamentarian elect. Words matters. One must understand elected representative meaning you are elected representative of a political party. And in most cases they use the word party list.
Yeah.
What is a party list? A party list is a political party.
Party, yeah.
Think it through, Andrew.
Yeah.
We can end up having 15 factions.
50 factions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
15 factions based on this concept
Based on
and no party.
And no party.
So we have a government.
Until we have elections, whether it's snap elections or elections, it would then change into parties again because,
Yeah, because
then they
you can't
need a
go-
vehicle
Yeah.
to get into the seats.
Exactly.
It's said clearly in the electoral ordinance, and there's another ordinance that talks about, you have to register with them in order to become, and you cannot register
As
a
an
person,
individual.
As an individual.
No?
You must, no.
No.
So okay,
Where the
but I
taxes-
could I could register a party and be the only candidate.
Yeah, you could
Yes,
be in a
because the party
But
has
you
the
have to be.
budget, the party has a program, the party has all these things by which means they are allowed to run an election. You as an individual, right? If we look at those independent members of parliament now, let's go by the election registry and try find their party and them having qualified to be a party. None. We can't find them. So we can have a government that is represented by NA and UP, which are the ministers, and look back in parliament and don't see them.
You know what would be fun? To look at the 5 independent members and see how much votes they have together.
They have gotten as low as 120 or 125.
Yeah.
There are persons there in the mid to low 100 votes. Okay, and if you look at an order to get a seat, and I'm trying to remember the electoral term, 900 and something.
920.
Yeah,
I remember 926.
Look
yeah,
at this.
in order
Yeah.
to get a seat.
USP
And here
has-
you have 125, and you running things, so to speak.
USP has 2 seats in parliament but no representative.
And what's your thoughts on this suspended but still half full powers as a member of parliament? Because it seems to be a big issue now, based on MP Boncampo, suspended member MP Boncampo. So we have 15 members of parliament, but on the books we have 16. Because we're paying 16 of them. Your thoughts?
I mean, like, there's no words to explain that. It's inconceivable. I mean, yeah, but I'm concerned.
USP is our official elected
But these are
party.
independent, and that's where I was going with it, because I wanted to see your thoughts on the fact that, you had 2 members that were elected under the USP, and then afterwards, they went independent at different times, and then both independents, now one of the independents gets convicted, had to vacate his seat, And then we
USP
had
appoints to somebody.
no, not
That-
USP didn't appoint anybody. The next person on the list is
Goes
given the opportunity to
But
represent
on the USP,
on the USP list. You see, so it comes back to
It comes back to the USP.
Because what? The seat
But-
belongs to the USP.
And then, but that person can't go independent or assumes that he can't go independent because he's like, okay, wait a minute now. He doesn't want to play because he's a substitute member. However, the substitute member is not clearly defined as a full-fledged member of parliament.
Well, he has been, for lack of a better term, kicked out.
You've
by-
been
by the
fired
party.
by your party. By the seat remains
Yeah.
with the party.
So
you
therefore-
cannot
so,
usurp
you know,
the
that's what
position.
it is.
Like we keep coming back. So now again, on the books,
A press release stating that you're expelled does not necessarily mean
we got the press release. He got the letter. He got maybe solved with legal reasons, whatever. He was expelled from the party. You, at that point, you pack your bags, you put your stuff in it, you close it. You might say
Okay, but he
thanks
didn't do
for,
that.
but you don't
he
have,
didn't do it.
You don't have the
So that's
option.
why I'm asking
Based on-
Mr. Romney, what does he think on the powers? Does he have powers as a full-fledged member of parliament?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
I mean, as is practiced today. He
Yeah.
does. And that's why I come back to saying that what our parliamentary democracy, okay, is in turmoil. So we have to rectify these things. Whether or not I would get a response from the Central Voting Bureau, that leads to the I guess we have to wait and see. And again, I also sent a carbon copy to
The Prime Minister.
the Council of Ministers,
Yeah.
the Honorable Prime Minister and Council of Ministers, the Honorable President of Parliament and members of Parliament, and the Central, what do you call themselves? Central Committee? The Central Voting, no, not
Sending Voting
the
Bureau?
Voting Council, voting,
Oh,
something
okay.
to that respect. Okay? And I asked them to give me their perspective. Because I think it's imperative at this time. We are 12 years gone. This should have happened 12 years ago. But we must rectify this. I think every person, every St. Martiner, all our well wishers, every citizen, we have to move forward. Okay? And if we want to be that exceptional constituent state, which I think we can be.
Exactly.
Yeah, we can be. Then we must first
Hilarious.
start off. It's hilarious.
Because
We must start off with good
we
governance.
need to be more than that, man.
You know, he's not going to say it, Andrew.
not gonna say
We're
it.
not using the C word
Okay,
here
fine, no
today.
problem. No C
okay,
word.
we are not using the C word here today because you have two grown individuals, one expert,
I get it.
who
I get
have
it.
been saying from the jump,
Yes.
this C thing
we can
is not
be.
a real
So
C
we
thing.
can be.
What,
Constitutional-
exceptional,
Exceptional constitutional
state? Of course we can.
Yeah, we seeing,
Okay?
we seeing,
and I
we
think that's
sparks
what,
of it.
and here I think that the regular person, like you, me, all of us, right now, it starts there. It starts there. Because it's obvious government is not going to do anything about that.
Yeah.
Members of parliament are not going to do anything.
Yeah.
So we, as a people, because what? The government belongs to us. They represent us. We don't represent them. So we must go back and say, look, let's get it straight. You see, and the unfortunate part of this is then this can end up where? In the kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's the
Take
kingdom's
supervision.
responsibility to ensure what? Proper governance.
Proper governance,
This
yeah.
is the
When you
reason why they
have
take over.
your whole parliamentary democracy into peril, it's time for them to come in and say, let's do something.
Yeah.
And
Let's
it's in
get it
peril,
straight.
let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's
We
without
are
question.
in peril
It's
right
in
now.
question.
Yeah.
Okay.
In
You know,
fighting
and-
the confusion again. We have USP registered as an elected party representing
Two seats.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 seats.
2 seats.
And they are nowhere to be found.
Ministerial regulation.
They are nowhere to be
Sign
found.
off saying
USP.
USP should be represented in the parliament by 2 seats. You go there.
They're not. They're nowhere to be found.
No, they're-
We have a coalition government with NA and UPP. UPP have so much supposed to have how much members supporting the UPP. in terms of seats. 4, right?
Yeah.
And then the National Alliance, they started off, including Chris,
6.
6, right?
Yeah.
So on paper, officially, you have a 10-man coalition government that is nowhere to be found in the aisles of Parliament. Complete and utter craziness. You cannot, I've said it from jump and I feel vindicated
Okay.
because from the first ship jump I said, okay, you leaving the party, fine. But based on how this thing's set up, that seat remains with the party. Otherwise, we can have 15 independent members in Parliament, but a 2-party government, which is not reflected back
Which one
in
is it?
Parliament.
All right, it's time for one of the most, my favorite times where I have to school.
Bash.
No, I have to school.
It's bash
School
the pop.
Cedric
It's bash the
on,
pop time.
what's happening. Of course, yesterday, I don't know if you get to see this. In Parliament. It was very interesting. It was, of course, a vote of the century, a checkmate move of the century. I must give it to the worst president of Parliament in St. Martin history as the checkmate of a long time Theo teach you well.
Why?
Theo teach
Why
you well.
do
Theo
you-
teach you well.
Why?
Let me finish.
Why?
Because
Why?
that move
No, it-
of 2 members of the
Which
coalition.
2 members? Which 2 members?
2 members of this
Calling it,
coalition.
calling it.
Akeem,
No.
Arinel,
Say it correctly.
and Chanel Brownville.
Say it a la
Those
CJ.
2
Say it.
MPs saved the job of the worst president of Parliament, even though publicly she stated that she will not work with them. I guess things change. She learned how to wheel and deal, or Cedric must have advised her, because that's the only way she could have make some sense
I am going,
and actually put money on the table, right?
I am going to take no responsibility for the actions of damn fool man and idiot boy, aka the convict and con.
Who saved your president of parliament?
No.
Have respect for them now.
No.
It's time to say that they were nice because they saved your president of parliament.
No.
What?
My president of parliament, like you like to say, which is she's St. Martin's president of parliament, should have not been in this position
Oh.
to begin with.
Well,
I am going to remain.
She didn't sign
I am going
the coalition agreement
which
we just
which we just established is.
Hey, don't look for help.
is
Don't look for help.
Which we,
Focus.
You see how
Focus.
we inability. Andrew, you have to stay with us. Once we have established something has been debunked, don't bring it up again.
Don't bring it up again.
Okay?
Okay.
We know that it is
Krisha Heiliger Martin is not part.
There are 2 parties that are signatory to this government, and we are not dealing with a new cabinet. This is a continuation of the Silveria cabinet 2. We didn't sign a
Yes.
3.
Okay. Yes.
Right? And this thing about signing a piece of paper is of no relevance because it's parties that are a party to these agreements. Okay? So let's stop that. Her impartiality in the
Really?
seat, he
So
is
really?
his problem.
You going to say that?
Andrew, again, I'm going to reiterate, this is not the fault of the President of Parliament. Any party leader that saw that situation and realized the conundrum that you were going to create on the floor of Parliament should have acted appropriately and have that minister resign. Because what
We talking about
we
the president of parliament
stop.
getting
We are
her
coming back.
saved
Are coming back.
by 2 persons you
She
continue to
should
call
not-
convicts.
she should
You
not-
continue to call them convicts,
I am-
and now all of a sudden they're not convicts
don't-
because they saved
Wait,
your
wait.
president of parliament?
I refer to the 2 individuals as AKA damn fool man and idiot boy, AKA the convict and con roll. I did not change a beat. I am saying this whole.
But thank God they
this whole-
saved.
this-
Thank God they saved your president of parliament,
Well,
right?
You believe in God, I don't. I am saying this action was to save their own skin in the long run. Right?
Oh, I wanna hear this.
I am ashamed that we are even dealing with this situation. I give you a side note. I appreciated the political maturity exercised by the PFP on the floor of Parliament yesterday, both voting opposite and remaining in a party together, having no problems. Each voting their conscience in this particular situation, and I could have found
You see that?
myself
Smoke.
with each one. Right?
You see that? That's smoke.
That ability
That's what you call
to
smoke
show
screen.
political maturity
Here we go.
on the floor of Parliament
You know
is
what?
not appreciated in St.
You know what?
What was the President of Parliament supposed to do? Not call the meetings because the numbers
Resign.
didn't add up.
Resign from the position if you don't support what is going on in Parliament.
Is the problem.
Resign.
This is a problem.
Do not continue being a president if you don't have
This
the
is the
support
problem.
of majority of your colleagues.
is the problem.
If 8 members,
This is the
Mr. Romney,
problem
send you a
dealing with
letter
here.
out of 15
I don't care
telling you
about
that
the 8
I want
letter.
you to move and
when
not
the
be
vote-
the president anymore,
and why?
Why you
Why?
staying
Why?
for?
Why?
What's so important about the position?
Let's go. Why did the letter come?
Why?
What's the silence?
What's
the silence?
Wait.
What's the silence?
Because 8
Because
members.
I think
You listening to
and
me?
we have
You asked me a question and I'm answering you.
Did they send that letter?
8 people
What
from.
is the reason? I don't care about.
Oh, the
numbers.
reason?
Give me the
Is
they
because
sent
she's
the
the worst at what she does.
Yes, okay. You have a top 10 of worst too. So
What's your
give me-
point?
Give me some content.
Content as in
Why? What made her the worst?
Cedric. Cedric. I have a long list. We don't have enough time to go into that.
The hat, right? The hat.
Okay?
She wears ugly
No,
hats.
no, it has to do. It has,
has
to
to
do.
do with
It
what?
has to do more than that.
It has to do with what?
Cedric,
Give me-
if
give
you're
me two.
if you're not
Give me two.
supporting,
I do.
If you're not
don't
supporting-
use generic words.
No.
Elucidate how she
No.
did not support.
Listen what I'm
was
saying.
her support not given to?
you're not listening.
I'm listening quite well.
Something fall, right?
I
You
do.
fall- yeah.
Yeah, don't
Okay.
worry.
Yes. I think it is your brain that fall. Look for it, because obviously you ain't hear what I'm saying.
Mine's fall trying to find yours. That's okay. Go ahead.
Cedric. Again.
Mr. Romney want to know
No.
the
Don't
support.
make Mr. Romney.
The support thing.
Yes,
We want
the
we
support,
Want, we want
yes,
some
okay.
content. We
So
don't want
if
generic words.
majority of parliament.
Irrelevant.
How you mean?
We're talking about the wise.
How
men.
you mean?
How did it get to the majority of parliament don't agree with her? What she do? English. What she do?
How you mean? What she do?
Yeah. What she do? What she
This is my show. Don't be asking me questions.
No, it's your show. I
Don't be asking.
the word for my name is co-host.
Find it.
Our show.
You better look for it in the constitution of the show. It's not clearly defined. Okay, Mr. Romney, your thoughts on,
Wait,
on yesterday's
wait.
shenanigans?
Wait. You just refused to answer that?
Yes, I could do that.
Wow.
Your thoughts on yesterday's shenanigans?
I don't see it as a shenanigan per se. I see it as, democracy.
Democracy.
I see a democracy in play. Politics, it's an
Cutthroat.
interesting phenomenon. It's just interesting game, and I thought it was, Except I thought it was just politics, and once it's all about negotiating, and if she could have negotiated a good deal, kudos to her.
Yeah, she did a good deal.
Listen.
Yeah.
You know,
Listen.
however,
But even though
except-
it is kind of
In the
unorthodox.
den
Wait.
of
Let me
thieves.
say something. So
What do you want?
isn't it a bit unorthodox that the leader
Wanted to fire
one party,
his own
his
member,
own party, wanted to fire?
the highest vote getter, in a
and
party
there
that
we go again.
he
Go
don't
back
want.
to what? To personal politics.
Yeah.
Each person within that, in Parliament, see themselves as an individual,
Correct.
me. They fail to understand that Parliament is a collective thing. We have to work together as a unit.
Yeah, but if the unit doesn't want you to lead them, Mr. Romney,
We
doesn't
back-
it mean?
Why?
Doesn't
Why?
it
Why you
mean
don't want me to
that?
lead you? Why you don't want me to lead you? What do?
Because you're not
What
good.
do?
You're
What
not
do?
good for the
What
island.
do?
You're not
What
good.
do,
You're
though?
not good.
Yes, what do though?
You take your like a wife. That's what you do. So
Yeah, but
what do
Rolando Bryson is a thief from the airport. You want to go there? You want to go there?
Bad. See,
You want to go
Cedric,
there? Listen,
duly elected. Do you know what that means?
So
Do you know what that means? Duly elected.
Like, if I ask, why she thief? Why she a crook? All they gonna tell me is her chicken soup banging and her dumplings great.
I'm sure
You can't accuse her of
Listen,
nothing.
we're not talking about her dumplings.
So now you look,
we're not talking
you
about
look-
her dumplings.
You
we're
bring her
we're talking about her inability
look
to be
over
the
at her husband and fail to realize that you gonna look at her husband. I looking at her and look at the other individual. Let's look at these two, put them next to each other. Forget her husband because he in there now. The fact that you got to reach back to her husband says enough about her.
This is
Right?
it. This is
that
it.
we
This
don't
is the
have nothing
lowest
there.
we've ever
We don't
gone
have nothing
on
there.
this show.
So we going to our husband.
The fact.
Meanwhile, we dealing with somebody. Mr. Ferrier, read the letter again. Read, Mike.
Who are you talking about?
Mike.
Michael Ferrier?
Mike, read the letter.
Yeah, tell him go pay taxes.
Read.
What I'm saying
You
is,
see, like one got to do with the next.
how you mean?
So he didn't keep the money on the airport?
Who we talking about?
Rolando.
I have no idea.
You have no idea.
How I supposed to know?
Mr. Mike, read the letter again. That's how you're going to know, Mr. Journalist. So, the whole point is,
Oh, there's a point?
yes.
Oh, okay, please.
The whole point is we should have never been in this position.
Well, we were.
Why were we in this position?
Because she is the worst president
immaturity,
of parliament.
because of the
And that is why I
because of
continue
the
to say,
immaturity.
if you don't have the majority, don't hold on to something that
hold on to it.
Did you earn it?
She needs
She's
to hold
not
on.
the
You want me to tell you why?
She's the leader of the party.
You want me to
Is she the leader of the party?
Yes. Yes.
What?
Yes.
not
Argue
the
with
leader.
me. Argue with me. Who lead what yesterday? Argue with me. I keep telling you, partner, you can't come in my house, live in the guest room and think you own the house. I keep telling you, you don't listen. Who, you know who I feel for though?
Mr. Romney,
You know
do you
who
think-
I feel for?
do you think-
I feel for Cookie.
Do you think the
Because that gonna get crumbled by that Cookie, the man named Cookie, dry substance, and gonna put yourself in that mixed partner when that mortal come there.
Do you think the UP will survive the next elections? I mean, everybody already have them in as the infighting that's happening within the party, that it's to a disadvantage,
But when
especially
Rolando get kicked out, they'll
it
come
being a big party.
think-
Do you think it will
I think
survive?
I think that's $1 million question before us. Would they survive? Chances are no.
Okay.
I mean, chances are, yeah, they have to do a whole lot of restructuring,
Yeah.
and yeah,
I
it's,
gonna
it's,
make
it's
a
$1 million question. That
I
they
gonna
have
make
to
a
figure.
Because it's very clear that Krisha Heliger-Martin already said that if for the next Congress and they decide to re-elect its leader, then she won't run with him on the next election. And of course, if she wins,
I going to make a
then-
prediction. Regardless, we are not seeing up next election. Regardless,
what?
you ain't seeing up next election.
This is why he's not a political. He's just a political. I don't even know what to call him. It's one of the most craziest things.
You know,
This is.
and you
You know,
don't even
it's
ask
a
me to
disclaimer.
elucidate.
It's
Why
a
you don't ask me
disclaimer I
to
have to put
elucidate?
because he's
he
out of his
he can't
mind,
elucidate.
and clearly he didn't
He
pick
has-
up his
he
brain
has-
from
he
the
has-
floor.
he has certain
His
words.
brain is still
Lack
on
of
the
support,
floor. Yeah.
Lack of support.
Why
and
wouldn't the
was-
UP be in the next election?
Because
Cedric?
of the appearance, the amount of confusion, the ugliness of this situation, regardless of the outcome, I do not foresee, right, up being part of the next coming elections. I just don't. I might be wrong.
Yes,
I
you
might
are
be
wrong.
wrong.
You're completely wrong.
Yes,
Because
I am
out
wrong.
of four,
Wait there, wait
out
there.
of 4 seats,
You see what
they're
happened
just going to
yesterday?
disappear.
You see what happened yesterday?
Yes, but
Wait,
out
wait.
of
I wrong?
yeah,
Have I been wrong?
many times.
Wait. Today again. Today again.
Talking about Cedric
When?
many times.
Men, name one.
What?
Name one.
You just being here is wrong.
Yes, I know.
That's it.
I know.
The National Alliance. How you think they're doing so far as a political party? That's the best I have. Cedric. In all seriousness.
Yeah, but they
Yeah.
don't listen to me, so what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
You
What do you
don't
think
listen to me,
about
so
the
what do you
party,
want
the National Alliance, going into the next election, Mr. Romney?
me to do? No, I don't listen to me.
National Alliance, one can see that they have tried and seems to...
Or tried is what we calling it?
Yeah, I would say try, and they seem to be keeping that body together. They seems to be keeping, I mean, they've lost Chris.
Chris
Okay,
and also Ludmila Duncan. So they lost 2 members.
Okay. Well, yes, and like I said, she's a new member.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But the core is still keeping together. They
Yeah.
tend to vote together.
That very
So their
ancient
survival is good. Okay, they've lost Mr. Weaver, and yeah, but she's a new member. She's not really an experienced politician per se. She's not part of their major support, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I think they're okay. They've been strong. They've been able to keep.
So you see,
That
you
party
see
together.
the Prime Minister heading the party still as its leader.
I don't see any reason not
Okay.
that she would not be. I don't see any reason.
Would Chris' new party, the Now, you think it would be a serious contender for the next elections?
Probably will. I probably will. And because I say that too, because it appears that the electorate of St. Martin's is yearning for something else. Is yearning for new leadership. They're yearning for things they want some clarity.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm glad that I'm here sitting with you. I mean, of course, you guys are different platform and
Yes,
you
of
have
course.
your different, jokes or whatever. But this is a way of helping
Yeah, well,
the electorate get that knowledge.
yeah, but we use satire as
Okay.
a means
Yeah.
of
As a
keeping
means of
people,
keeping
people
them,
here.
yeah.
So
And
the
my-
discourse...
Because Cedric is more the joke and I'm more the serious. So that's how I see
I
it.
have to work harder because they just have to put a camera on him and everybody just laugh. You don't have to say it. So I need to put some effort in.
Yeah,
And it must come in that
but they're
time.
yearning for something different, and you're right.
Yeah, they're yearning
and
for
I guess that's why we see in the different parties. But I remember you were very critical a couple years ago about the amount of parties, amount of candidates for 15
50 seats.
seats.
100 plus.
It's ridiculous.
See, because then it's, I mean, you understand, it's a democracy. You cannot stop a person from participating in the political
yeah.
process. That's your the whole concept of government.
Yeah.
You give up your natural rights for government to take part of you, to take care of you, to get out of the state of nature, and therefore your thing is now that you should be freely able to participate in the election process. So you would think, but there's too many. There are too many. So therefore, in order to get a seat, the number becomes insignificant.
Yeah.
You can gather, a little like a little, yeah,
Big parties.
yeah,
the big
yeah,
parties
get a couple of your
encourage.
friends and whoever and form this little
This block,
a
yeah.
little thing, and you can get elected.
Yeah.
Okay? And the problem here, I'll go back to that again, is based on what? Personal politics.
Personal politics.
Personal politics
Not
does
ideology.
not put
No
not
ideology. You don't like that
Okay?
one either.
And,
You don't like
and the
to
whole
hear
thing
that
here
one.
is that we need ideology because we need to come up with, the personal politics doesn't bring sound public policy into place. That's our issue. We need sound public policy. When we talk about we want to expand or we want to see St. Martin economically grow, we must come up with what? A sound economic policy. Okay? We must come up with a sound budgetary policy. Okay? Whether
Yeah.
you're talking about incremental approach to budgeting or performance
You're talking
budgeting,
about
we must come with that.
We do not
And
have
that's lacking
budget has
because
been
personal
approved yet.
politics doesn't give us that kind of
Yeah.
direction. We must come with a model and move on.
And that's
And
why you
what
about-
that's why you have people leaving the parties and splintering because we are not affiliated based on a political ideology. We are affiliated based on we good.
We good.
friends.
Yeah.
You my
We go out to dinner every week.
Or,
Yeah.
I see you as somebody popular and you could
Yep.
potentially bring
Bring
50 or 100 votes.
Votes, yeah.
But no, suppose you bring me on your your party, I am fundamentally a socialist, and I am in this capitalist environment. I could stomach one, stomach two things, but the third one, I am going to have to exit stage left.
And go independent.
And then you don't leave the party, you go independent. I have no platform. This vicious circle.
It's a vicious circle.
Here again, and I will come back to it again. When they leave the party or they leave whatever they do, it's not based on ideology.
No.
They don't leave because we have a difference in terms of I want to see this more of a conservative and you leaning more socialist in terms of implementing or developing a policy. No, it's just meaning, look here, I am more popular than you, so why should you lead me?
Yeah.
Okay? I got more votes, so I should be minister.
Yeah.
Forget the fact that they don't have the necessary knowledge.
You're not going to judge me based on my qualifications or my ability to execute a function.
If they were moving based on ideology, so we want to find a different approach in order to be more effective.
Yeah, but that happens also in political parties when they have, they put professionals in particular fields on the list to make sure that it's a full, nicely formed list. And then based on the voting results, if let's say the most popular guy with a high school diploma, or sometimes not even that, ends up getting X amount of votes higher than the whole list, they're the one who wants to become the minister. Or they're the ones who wants to...
What you mean? On St. Martin?
Yeah, on St. Martin, of course.
St. Martin.
Yeah,
Okay,
St.
yeah.
Martin.
And
I get to be the minister.
Yeah.
And that's, again, that we do not understand the fundamentals of the parliamentary system. Okay? Anyone can be a quote-unquote parliamentarian.
Yeah.
Because you have to, or rather you should be given the opportunity to participate in the...
No matter your circumstance.
In the political process.
Yeah.
That's your right.
Yeah.
However, the other part of that is what? The executive branch, or rather the executive branch.
Yeah, excuse me.
Within the parliamentary system, that's why it's appointed. There you put persons with the competence.
But now your ministries would have to reflect
the competence.
wanting professionals. Because you can't have a public health ministry that requires a certain level of expertise and then put labor and social affairs that requires a whole different set of expertise. So you see the ministries wasn't formed with expertise in mind. Because you would have put public health together with food, with something else that is more aligned, right? With sports, for example, because it's all health. You put that there, but you can't put VSR public health that has so many aspects.
We can change though.
The environment.
Yeah,
we can change it.
We can change by moving away from what? Personal politics.
Yeah.
Okay?
We don't have a Ministry of Agriculture.
And understanding the concept of a parliamentary system of government. Okay, when one thinks that, okay, I'm getting elected, then you're thinking, and I can do what I want, or however you want to put it, you're talking more of a presidential system. Because a presidential system, you elect yourself.
Yeah.
Okay? They're two different systems.
Yeah.
And we tend to want to operate as if we are in a prepresidential. We are in a parliamentary system.
All right, before we go, I need to pick your brain.
I control that.
Before we go, let me pick your brain on the PFP and the UD party. Your thoughts on they going into the next election. You think they're on a good track? Yeah.
But I think the UD party,
they're going back to the DP.
They're going back to DP.
Yeah. Is that a good thing? Because, I mean, it's been changed over and over and over. Yeah.
I mean,
that's a name change going back because the UD was a...
Yes, we know the story. So, but do you think it's still... Does it make any sense to still have the Democratic Party back into politics?
Well, I guess they feel if they go back to basics, they would be, a party to be reckoned with. And the key here now would be is who is going to form that list? Who is going to be on the list?
Yeah. We don't say her for sure.
Yeah, of course, who is she going to have there with her in order to make it a viable political party?
And also the Dutch party, what do you think about the Dutch party, the PFP?
Yeah, run your ball. My
But I
bad.
Matthew,
Yeah,
I support that.
So, because last elections they did impressively well, with just 7, 8 candidates, I believe, and then they were able to get 2 seats.
To get 2 seats.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they might go to a full list this time.
Well, I don't think it's the full list. I think it's the quality of the candidates and
There
what they
you go.
represent.
That's
And
what it
again,
should be.
Their
That's what it should
job,
be, yeah.
That's what it should
the
be.
way they have performed as opposition,
As opposition.
kept it about the
Yes, the
subject
king makes
matter.
sure of that.
we must
yes.
give them credit for that.
Yeah.
As a party,
Watching.
they have performed well together.
And
They
I
have
like Melissa Sachs.
kept
I mean.
their own together.
Melissa
What
Sachs
I
is
think
so-
here would be to the disadvantage of, in fact, for all the parties, is that we find just 2 or 3 come back to the PFP. Okay? Only person you have seen involved in doing things, two persons. They might have had, how many members they have on the list last time?
That's 7,
8?
7, 8, I believe.
Where's the other 5?
One was
How
expelled,
effective can
so there's like 4,
the other
5,
4?
yeah.
How effective can a party be when you're going to, all throughout the year, the 4 years, all you hear from is 2 members and the other 5. And then you expect those other 4 or 5 members to come up and get persons to vote for them? They too should be in the
that's a good
limelight.
point.
But
You see,
our
and that's all.
political
That's all
system
political thing. Again, go back to
Personal
personal
politics,
me.
yeah.
They use the other 4 or 5, and that's also for all of the political parties.
Yeah.
All of them.
After the
Okay?
elections,
After
there's
election,
hardly any
other don't.
meetings.
So they
You
use
don't
them
call me,
just
you
to
don't
fill the
enter-
list because the law say we can hold 24 or 23, whatever the amount is, and hopefully that they will bring a little something to do. They are seen to me, to my mind, as insignificant. The only value they have is to bring in 5 or 6 little votes.
Yeah.
Okay? And those
To help
top
me get
5,
elected.
They could make
Yeah,
this self-significant.
yeah.
They could make this self-significant by getting 300 and 400 votes. But
Yep.
at the end of the day, but with all the parties, after elections is over,
There's
the
the rest of
rest
that.
of the list, right? And you know what's so hard? During the campaign and during the election process, all members, all 24, they have a voice. They're part of everything, every meeting, everything. Where they want their input as the day after elections.
yeah.
I will negotiate on behalf of the party, and I'll get back to you. And that's it.
The rest, listen, from let's say from 11 down, are not heard. They don't even have access.
Some people resign and they go like, okay,
Okay.
until next time.
Good luck.
And
Let's
then
see
I
you
said,
next time.
how do you expect to get elected
Yeah.
if all you do campaign for what? 2
2,
3
months.
weeks?
Yeah.
And
That's
then
it.
you're going to end up skilled.
Thank you so much, Mr. Romney, for coming. Of course, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much. A breath of fresh air, and finally somebody that I can actually rely on with information and learn from and really get all the information from, because anybody else, it doesn't work. So thank you.
Thanks
Intervention
for
was
having me.
appreciated. Yeah.
So until next week, thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.
And I like Silveria, I can't control what Andrew says. If you want to answer, you can answer. If you don't want to answer, yeah, if you want me to do this hoopla and all of this business, why you got it, whatever. Just make sure that I tune in next week.
Okay, that's enough.
Because, yeah.
Bye-bye.